Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Today we are going to solve Cambridge O-Level Biology Paper 1 multiple choice question. For the session of October-November 2024, we have the subject code 5090 and variant of this paper is 12. We have 1 hour allocated for this paper and this paper is carrying 14 marks. So we're going to start our question paper from question number 1. Question number 1 is that the diagram shows 3 different types of microscopic structure. One is we know that this is for the xylem vessel. Number 2, we know that this is the red blood cell, and number 3 is the root hair cell. So we're gonna stack our option accordingly, and we can see that option number A and this is red blood cells, second and third is root hair cell. So all the correct option D is carrying, so we're gonna select D. Moving to question number D. Question number 2, species of organism has scientific name made up of 2 parts. These 2 parts are known as genus sapiens and the system is known as binomial nomenclature. What is the system used to name the species? The classification system, B the genus system, the binomial system. Yes, the answer is the binomial system, like Homo sapiens. Homo is for genus and sapiens for species. Moving to question number 3. The diagram shows the water potential measured in unit of kilopascal in a group of a plant cells. A larger negative number indicates a lower water potential. Which sequence of arrows show that the net movement of water from cell X? Okay, so it should be a larger value in the negative when we are going to downwards. So if we look at the option number A, it is from -300 to -325, then it decreased to -310. So this is not the true, and this is further decrease. Moving to option number B, it is 300 to 325, then 450 minus and -600. Yes, it is increase in this way. So option number B is the right answer. If we look at the C, there is decrease, and if we look at the D, there is also decrease. So option number B is the only correct option over here. This was a very good question. Presenting a question this way is a good technique from the examiner. Moving to question number 4. Question number 4 is that which statement about the active transport are correct? In active transport, we know that particles move from higher concentration to lower concentration in the ionic form. So if we look at the option number 1, option number 1 is that ions move from a region of high concentration to a region of active transport, it is always movement of low concentration to high, not high to low. So this is the wrong option. Moving to second, 2 ion moves across the cell membrane. Yes, energy released during respiration is used to move ions into or out of the cell. This is also the correct one. So option number D is carrying 2 and 3. That is the right option. Moving to question number 4. Which biological molecule contain the chemical elements carbon, hydrogen, nitrogen and phosphorus? It means it should have carbon, hydrogen, nitrogen and phosphorus. So DNA is the only that contains all these 4 elements. Cellulose, lipids and starch contain carbon, hydrogen and oxygen only. So only option A is carrying carbon, hydrogen, nitrogen and phosphorus. So DNA is that. Moving to question number 6. Okay, 6 is that catalase is an enzyme found in the potato tissue. It catalyzes the breakdown of the hydrogen peroxide H2O2 into water and oxygen. You can see hydrogen peroxide, the reaction in the presence of catalase would produce water plus oxygen. The operator shown was used to investigate the activity of catalase. We can see that there are in potato there are 3% hydrogen peroxide and oxygen is produced. We can see that from the indication of the bubbles, and water is over here in the in the marine standard and the bath. 5 identical potato discs were dropped into the 15 centimeter cube of a 3% hydrogen peroxide solution at a temperature of 20 degrees Celsius. This is important. The time taken for 5 centimeter cube of oxygen to be produced was recorded. This procedure was repeated at each of the following temperature: 30, 40, 50, 60 and 70 degree. Which graph shows the result of investigation? Before doing or solving this type of numerical, you should know that enzyme work best at the optimum temperature. At that point, if below optimum temperature and maximum temperature, enzyme do not work that point. So you have to look at all the options to realize at what so at optimum temperature it should take minimum time. So if we look at the graph A, this is the minimum time, and this is the optimum temperature where the object is where the enzyme is working best. So option number A is the right. If we look at the B, it is a straight line, so this cannot be. It is also the C is also the straight line, and option number D is wrong because at optimum temperature it is taking the highest time, so it cannot be done. So only option correct is option number A. Moving to question number 7. Question number 7 is that again it is from the graph. The graph shows factors affecting the rate of photosynthesis. The rate of photosynthesis of light intensity when it is increased, the rate of photosynthesis increased. Rate of photosynthesis in the presence of carbon dioxide, when the carbon dioxide increase, it is also increased. And rate of photosynthesis of temperature, when temperature at 5, the rate of photosynthesis is maximum. Okay, now at which point on the graph could be the rate of photosynthesis be limited by the carbon dioxide concentration? So it should be limited at by carbon. So we can see that this would be the minimum when the carbon dioxide concentration is, and this is the maximum, and over here this is the maximum. Over here we are taking when it would be the maximum, and over here because this was the limit, so we were taking that when it is minimum. So option number 2, 3 and 5 would be the correct choice. If you look at the over option number C is carrying that all those. Moving to question number 8. Question number 8 is that the diagram shows a section through a leaf. What is the main function of the region labeled X? Region label X is the stomata, and the stomata function is the exchange of gases. So option number B is that is gaseous exchange, in which you can see the stomata is the guard cell and protective cell, and they are used to exchange of gases take place over here. Moving to question number 9. Root hair cells take in water and ions from the soil, which rows show how water and ions are taken into the root hair cell. We know that osmosis is the special case of diffusion, where the particles move from higher to lower concentration but in the presence of water. So option number C and D can be true for the case of water, and ions are moved in the active transport. So option number A and D are correct, and both these correct option are in option number D. Now move to question number D. Question number 10. 4 leafy shoots cut from the same plant were put into a beaker of colored water and left in the room with a different temperature. In 2 rooms, electric fans were set up to blow air. Okay, first you should know that maximum temperature would support the diffusion, and when air is blowing, it means electric fan is on, it will also support. The time taken for the colored water to reach the leaves was measured for each stem. In this stem, the colored water will reach the fastest, so it mean that the temperature should be the maximum, and electric fan should be on. If we look at option number A, this is the minimum temperature, so this cannot be true. 10 degrees Celsius with a fan is good, but temperature is again lower. 30 degrees Celsius but not fan. 30 degrees Celsius with a fan. Yeah, this is the correct option, so option number D is the correct choice. Moving to question number 11. Cubes of the boiled eggs white are placed in test tubes, okay, containing 5 centimeter cube of water. Boiled egg white contains protein. Other substances are added to each test tube as shown in the table. The test tube are left for 8 hours and then tested for amino acid. We can see that there are test tube 1 till 7 and solution added is pepsin plus pepsin alkene. One thing you should remember, which test tube show that pepsin is an enzyme. When pepsin react with acid, its pH level is 2, so it behaves best. So pepsin plus acid is the reaction in which the traces of ammonia will produce, so amino acid will produce. So we need to look at option number 4 and 5. So this is the correct choice, option number C. Moving to question number 12. Question number 12 is that the diagram shows a section through a villus. What is the main role of vessel X? Option number A. This is a simple function of villus. You need to know that. Okay. To carry amino acid to liver for a protein formation node, to deliver deoxygenated blood node, to supply oxygen to the cell of the villus node, to transfer fatty acid and glycerol to the lymph stem. Yes, this is the right option, option number D. Moving to question number 13. Which part of the human digestive system is a major region for the assimilation of amino acids? You should know it should be liver. Option number A is the liver. Option number B is the stomach. This cannot be. Option number C is small intestine, and option number D is the large intestine. So option number A is the correct choice. This was an easy MCQ in biology. You need to practice the diagrams lot of, and all diagrams should you memorize it to how they are going to be labeled, or it can be you can be asked to solve any of the label part. Okay. Moving to question number 14. When the volume of the thorax increases, the pressure in the thorax is lower. This result in the air being taken into the body. How is the volume of thorax increased so that air is breathed in? Okay, it should be by the diaphragm and the external intercostal muscle contracting. Yes, this is the right option. By diagram relaxing, this is not the correct. By diagram and internal is not the correct, and internal is not again the correct. So option number A is the best choice. Moving to question number 15. The diagram show how some apparatus is set up to investigate respiration in germinating seeds. Okay, you can see the thermometer, water bath, and capillary tube and color oil drops. Let's germinating seed, wire mesh, and sodium hydroxide to absorb carbon dioxide. Okay, the color of oil drops moves along the capillary tube. What causes the movement of the color of oil drop? It is simple. It is the respiration. So oxygen will be consumed or oxygen will be used to indicate that. So option number C is the right choice. Moving to question number 16. Ventricles petal defect is a hole. So it is defining. If you do not know that what is this term means, examiner is defining in the question as well, is a hole in the spectrum between the left and the right ventricles of the heart. Which statement describes the effect on the blood flow through the heart in a person with a ventricle spectra defect? It means there is a hole between left and right ventricles. So some deoxygenated blood flow into the pulmonary vein. No, this is not the right. Some oxygenated blood flow into the right atrium. No, again this is not the right. Some oxygenated blood flows through the pulmonary artery. Yes, this is the right option, because pulmonary artery carry deoxygenated blood from heart to the lungs. So option number C is the right choice. Option number D, some deoxygenated blood flow into the left atrium. No, again this is wrong. Moving to question number 17. Question number 17 is a simple question of memorizing the role of the function of blood parts. Human blood is composed of plasma, red blood cell, white blood cells, and platelets. Which row states a function of each of three components? A is plasma, clotting red blood cell, white blood cells, and platelets. B, transporting carbon dioxide, transporting oxygen. We know that the function of plasma is transport carbon dioxide, red blood cell transport oxygen, white blood cells produce antibodies, and platelets is the reason of clotting. So option number B is clearly indicating all the right functions of these particular elements of blood. Okay, how is malaria normally transmitted from person to person? Airborne droplets, contaminated needles, infected mosquito. Yes, so infected mosquito is the reason. If it gets to a patient and then if it bites on the patient, if it bites to the healthy person, the person would be infected. Okay, moving to question number 19. Carbon monoxide is a poisonous gas that combine with hemoglobin to form carboxyhemoglobin. What function of the blood will be affected if a person inhales carbon monoxide? The ability of the blood to form clots. No, the carriage of oxygen to the body. Yes, this is the, if you will consume carbon monoxide, this would be affected, the carriage of oxygen to body organs. So option number B is the right choice. Moving to question number 20. Which disease can be cured through antibiotics? Lung cancer, we know that it cannot be cured, and HIV infection cannot be cured. So option number C and D, and only cholera can be cured through antibiotics. So option number D is the right choice. So this was an easy question. Moving to question number 21. Okay, vaccination help to control the transmissible diseases. The MMR vaccine is given to our young children and provides immunity against a disease called measles. The graph shows the percentage of the population of a country vaccinated using the MMR vaccine and the number of cases of measles over time. You can see that at 98, so this is for the number of cases of measles, and this is for MMR. When the percentage of the vaccination was taken, the large quantity, there was minimum cases of measles, and when the vaccination was reduced, so you can see that the cases were increased. So we need to see which statement would be in accordingly. Okay, each year the percentage of the population vaccinated using the MMR vaccine decreases and the number of measles cases increases. No, this is not the right choice. The percentage of the population vaccinated against MMR decreased from 91 to 98, 80% in 2000. This may lead to the increase in the, yes, we have concluded that if the vaccinated number of person would be less infected, if the vaccination increase, and if the vaccination is reduced, so the number of population would be affected would be the lower case. So option number B is carrying the right choice. Moving to question number 22, the diagram shows the excretory system. One is, we know that kidney, and 2 is ureter, 3 is bladder, and 4 is urethra. So option number C is carrying that options. Okay, again the label diagram you need to memorize it. Moving to question number 23. Okay, now you can see. Question number 23 is that as a result of the accident in the factory, a small piece of metal entered the spinal cord of an engineer and severed the tissue at X. The diagram shows a section through the spinal cord in the neck at the point of the injury. A nervous pathway is shown. Okay, which outcome from the accident is possible? Loss of all sensation in the head above the spinal cord? No, not all sensation. Loss of some sensation on the left side of the body? Yes, this has the high chances because injury is taken place at the left side. So option number B is the right answer. Moving to question number 24. The diagram shows a section through the eye. Okay, P is, we know that P is cornea and Q is iris and R is lens. Which two structure focus the light onto the retina? So P and R are the two options. It means cornea and lens are two structure that focus light rays onto the retina. So option number B is carrying P and R. So that's right, it is correct. P, remember, it is cornea and R is lens and Q is iris. Okay, moving to question number 25. The diagram shows some of the endocrine glands of a human female. Number one over here is just a pituitary gland and and it produces FSH hormones. Number 2 is, we know that it produces adrenaline gland. That is kidney. In kidney it is adrenaline glands are produced. At 3 it is liver, and we know that insulin is produced over here. At 4 it is ovary, and we know that estrogen glands are produced. So option number B is the correct choice if we look at all the options. Now moving to question number 26. When the body temperature is too high, which process causes the body temperature to return to the normal? We know that we release sweat to decrease our body temperature, otherwise we will remain heated. So option number A, contraction of hair erector muscle, no. Contraction of skeletal muscle causing shivering, no. Secretion of sweat due onto the surface of the skin, yes, this is the reason our temperature decreases. So option number C is the right choice. Moving to question number 27. Some seedlings were grown in a dark, warm and humid environment. The tip of the growing shoots were cut off and then replaced on one side of the shoot as shown. The shoots were then left to grow. Growing shoot, tip removed and tip replaced. Which pattern of the growth was then seen in the shoots? The shoot stops growing, no. The shoots grew straight up, no. The shoot grew with a curve to the left, no. If we look at this is already on the left side, so it means it will grew towards the right. So option number D is carrying that choice. Okay, moving to question number 28. Which statement about the meiosis are correct? Okay. We know that meiosis produces genetically identical nuclei. It is not true, so it will not produce genetically identical. So A and B can be true. Meiosis produce half haploid nuclei. Yes, this is the true. So option number B is the right choice. Moving to question number 29. What is the feature of asexual reproduction in plants? It only needs one type of gamete. No. It requires two parents. No. It is asexual. It uses cell division by meiosis. Again, not. It uses cell division by mitosis. So option number D is the right choice over here. Moving to question number 30. Okay. Question number 30 is that the seed plants will not normally germinate until they have been in the soil for several months. Some seeds were collected from the plant of this type. Some students wanted to find out whether a chemical in the testa prevented germination. The seeds were divided into three groups. Each group of the seeds was put into a shallow dish and covered with water. The lid was used loose fitting so that oxygen could reach the seed. Group 1 were whole seed. Group 2 were seeds from testas had been removed. Group 3 were seeds from which the testas had been removed, but the testas were placed separately in the same dish. We can see from the figure, group 1, group 2, only seeds in group 2 germinated. It means group 1 and group 3 doesn't germinated. Okay, because there was whole seeds. This is why. And group 3 tester removed but placed in the same dish. It means water is not replaced. So what would be the most logical extension of this experiment? Change number A. Change the water of the seeds in the group 3 every day to see if they germinate. Yes, this is the right choice. If we change the water, they would germinate it. So option number A is clearly the right answer. Moving to question number 31. The diagram shows changes in the thickness of the uterus lining during menstrual cycle. Thickness of the uterus lining and times per day. What would the level of proestrogen and LH to be the highest? LH would be the highest on day number 14, and you can see that progesterone would be in the maximum between days 19 and 23 from the graph. So option number B is the right choice. Moving to 32. In the umbilical cord, the blood flowing from the fetus to the placenta in the umbilical artery has part A, a higher concentration of carbon dioxide than the blood in the umbilical vein. Yes, this is the reason. This is the information you must memorize because it has the high concentration. And moving to question number 33. DNA is divided into sections called chromosome, genes, nuclei, and proteins. You know that this is the answer is genes. DNA is divided into genes. Moving to question number 34. 34 is the most interesting question of this paper. You will like that. Okay, a man and his wife have 3 children. The first 2 were girls and one has the blood group A and one has the blood group O. The father has the blood group B. What is the probability that the third child is a boy with the blood group B? The probability of boy would be equal chances of girl and equal chances of boy. It would be 0.5, and we know that father blood group is, okay, you can write that father blood group over here is B, and its genotype would be O, and mother probably will have, because one child has group A and one type has O, so mother blood group would be A and its genotype would be O. So what would be the chances of an other B? It would be like that OB, AB, AO, and OO. So the probability of coming to the B group of an other child would be 1 by 4, because they are the fourth, and 1 by 4 it means 0.25. Okay, now the boy has a probability of 0.5. So 0.5 multiplied by 0.25, this is the question of mathematics. So you need to take your calculator with yourself. Sometime in biology some calculation might come, so you need to bring your calculators, otherwise you need to multiply it, and maybe you are not good in mental math, so it will take time. So option number A is carrying that choice. First we have calculated for the probability of Y, and then we calculated what would be the possible blood groups that can become from the mother and father. How I selected, because one blood group of child was A, so I selected the mother should have the blood group of A, and its genotype would be O. So I have constructed that table. Then I find out that the probability of coming the child that had the blood group B is 1 by 4. Then we have multiplied these two probabilities to get the exact answer, 0.125. So option number A is the correct choice. Moving to question number 35. What outcomes might farmers want to achieve by using artificial selection, increasing or decrease? Okay, if we artificial selection would increase the yield, and it will decrease the use of the fertilizer. So it should not be this. It can be used to increase growth rate, but yield cannot be reduced. And pesticide use we should not increase the use, and growth rate cannot be decreased. So option number D is carrying the right choice. This is a simple logical question. Moving to question number 36. 36 is that single cell protein can be produced by growing a fungus in a fermenter. Why is it necessary for the fermenter to leave to have a cooling unit? Because it releases lot of heat, so as it reverses, so if it will have a cooling unit, so it will normalize the temperature. Option number A, fungi produces protein faster at low temperature. No, the air bubbles generates heat as they float upwards. No, that glucose syrup is too warm when it is added to the fermenter, and the fungus releases heat as it respires. So option number D is the right choice. Moving to question number 37. The diagrams show the pyramid of energy for the following food chain: grass, grasshopper, and bluebird. A pyramid of energy show the total quantity of energy stored in the biomass of organism at each tropical level in the food chain per year. Again, this is a math question. To one decimal place, what percentage of energy is transferred from the producer, this is the producer, to the herbivore, this is the herbivore? If it's the carnivore, then you should take the 5,000. So it would be like that: 24,000 is for the herbivores and 1,10,000. So you're gonna cancel 3 zeros with 3 0, and 24 by 10 and multiply it by 100. You get the answer that is equal to 21.8%. So option number D is carrying that choice. Moving to question number 38. Again, you need to bring your calculator in solving question number 37. Moving to question number 38. Which statement about the carbon cycle are correct? Okay. Burning wood, fossil fuel, add carbon dioxide to the atmosphere. Yeah, this is the right. Decay and photosynthesis remove. No, decay cannot remove the carbon dioxide. Photosynthesis and respiration add carbon. No, they do not add respiration and not photosynthesis. It removes. So option number 1 is the right choice, and option number B is the correct answer. Moving to question number 39. Aphids are small insects that feed on plants by sucking fluids from the plant cells. Okay. The population of aphids feeding on the bean plant increases. Yes, now you can see. Which row shows a combination of factors that explain this rapid growth? So its competition would be low and food supply would be the high. So these would be the conditions that will increase its population. Moving to the last question, question number 40. A lake has been polluted by sewage. How will water in this lake compare with the unpolluted water? We know that unpolluted water will have how will this water like compare with the unpolluted? Sewage would have more bacteria, more nitrates, and less oxygen. So option number B is the right choice. Thank you so much for watching this video. Hopefully you get the understanding of this paper. If you require any inquiry, you can ask in the comment section. You will be replied in detail and explain, and the reply would be as immediate because your exams are coming. Do refer to your friends and community. Keep supporting our channel so that we can make more videos, more informative videos, and do not forget to share with your friends and community who needs help in other subjects like physics, chemistry, or their IGCSE student. Even economics, accounting videos are also available. So keep supporting our channel, and we also have the live classes in Alif Lam Mim in our institute. If you want to join our institute for better understanding, you can also join it. Thank you so much for watching. Okay, best of luck for your paper as well. Allah Hafiz.